Hey, I'm Andrew. I'm the product.
Good evening, all, and let's not delay this any further. Tonight, we're going to be going over 88 issues in the small business space that have been appearing on maybe your shorts, maybe your TikTok page, because of course it's New Year, New Us. And when people are starting a new year, they want to start a new business, which is an excellent time. The best time to start a small business is definitely when you feel like you're ready to do so. So, in this episode one about 88 issues in the small business space, we're going to go ahead and view the video that kind of inspired this topic.
My small business is being sued, and here's why you should care about because there is a
I'm working out a few kinks and a few bugs because this is my first time doing this, but still, we're going to get through it. I'm actually going to go ahead and play it through the player.
Why does the My small business is being sued, and here's why you should care about because there is a rising tide of ADA website compliance lawsuits every year. Thousands of lawsuits are being filed throughout the whole year against small businesses. In 2025 alone, there was a 37% increase. 37%. And here's also the thing is that you can have widgets and tools and they do not protect you. In fact, there was an FTC lawsuit settlement against the tool, the widget, accessibility, claiming that it would protect your business when in fact it would not. And there's about, I think it's a 23% increase if you use actually a tool and widget, that you are more likely to be sued because you use a tool or a widget. No business is immune regardless of your industry, regardless of whether you're e-commerce or brick and mortar, and a handful of serial plaintiffs are most likely responsible for these lawsuits. In fact, the person who is suing me has sued more than over 140 small businesses, I think in the past 6 years. 140 small businesses. So this affects you and this affects someone you know, because I'm sure someone you know is a small business owner and they should be aware of this. I wish there's a way I could tell you that there's a guaranteed way you could protect yourself, and that's not necessarily true. You can have an accessibility statement on your website, and that's wonderful. You need to make sure that you're having contrast. There's different things that you can do to kind of protect your business, and just because you're sued once doesn't mean that you won't ever get sued again. It means you could be sued by a different law firm, by a different serial plaintiff. And here's the crazy part is that they want you to settle. They want you to settle out of court. They don't want you to take it to court because most small business owners do not have 3 to 5 times the amount of money that it's going to take this to court. So they don't have a lot of time, they don't have a lot of money, so they're going to settle maybe for a couple $1,000s on top of the legal fees that they already have to pay. Now, I don't know. Most small business owners that I know don't just have $10,000 or $20,000 lying around for miscellaneous expenses, for legal fees, for something that shouldn't even be an issue at all because it's not even about accessibility. It is all about money. So they want you to settle, and then when you settle out of court, you have to sign apparently a non-disclosure how much you settled for. So that way the public doesn't know that maybe you settled for $5,000 or $10,000 or $3,500, whatever it is. They don't want that to be publicly known because they are going to continue to sue small businesses. And there's nothing to protect these small businesses. Nothing to do that. So I'm going to be going to my state and federal lawmakers and representatives to make them aware of this. I'll be going to the media as well. Now, I reside in a small town in Delaware, and I also have businesses in 2 separate towns, one in a small town in Delaware, one in a small town in Maryland. So I'll be going to those representatives as well as the media because I have so much time on my free hands, and now I'm done with a bogus lawsuit about ADA website compliance, which I do care about ADA compliance, but not when it's coming from electronic ambulance chasers who don't actually care about accessibility. They only care about money. please make sure you share this information in this video with another small business owner, because they just need to be aware. I wish I could tell them there's a way they could protect themselves, and that's not true. But just go ahead and search up ADA website compliance lawsuits, and you're going to see a whole bunch of trends of how so many small businesses are being sued, and there's nothing they can do to protect themselves. At least not yet. I want to remain hopeful that one day there is going to be a law to protect small businesses against these serial plaintiffs. My small business is being sued.
Okay, so I want to go back to her video, and understandably, she is upset. I can imagine that she definitely had people that went to her website. I did go ahead and look at it, and I do want to preface as well. She does not only say in this video, and not only in her comment where it says, this isn't about ignoring accessibility. Accessibility matters. This is about predatory legal tactics hurting small businesses, is what I'm assuming the rest of that says. She does make a follow-up video. I'm not going to play that today, but it takes shocking moments like this where people realize, oh, my website is not ADA compliant. And a lot of people are out here trying to make their small business website because they're a one-person show, they're a one-person band. There is absolutely nothing wrong with trying to do this yourself. So I'm simply just here to try to guide, because at the end of the day, we all want to make the experience more accessible for people. I do want to go back to one thing that she said in the video outside of ADA and accessibility. She mentioned that her website had an accessibility statement, which I have gone on to her website. Actually, we can pull up her website maybe here in a little bit. She does have an accessibility statement, and it shows basic information about her site. But I do have, and I will link overall on everything to this Notion page. I'm not going to lie, Notion is not the most accessible thing, but as this is something I'm quickly starting to put together, it's my default without having to set up a full entire web page or a blog about this right at the moment. So I will have that linked in the comments pinned on YouTube, as well as I will have a copy of this whole entire video on Facebook. If you are using Facebook or YouTube, there should be a CC option at the bottom, speaking of accessibility, for closed captions, so that you will be able to read the captions. And now that I think about it, let me make sure that my captions are turned on for this video, because that was one of my main goals for this week. And I do see that the closed captioning is recording. So if you turn on CC on any of those platforms, you should be able to see the captions as well. Okay. And just to define, what is an accessibility statement? Because she glosses over that very quickly. According to Level Access, an accessibility statement is a document that publicly communicates what an organization is doing to provide digital products, services, and content that are accessible to people with disabilities. It may also capture organizational policies and goals related to accessibility and document progress made. This is some of the things that should be included in a web accessibility statement. So a complete list of accessibility laws and standards your organization adheres to, such as the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines, also known as WCAG, which I do plan on in this series of videos to cover that as well for small business owners. Ways you've incorporated accessibility into your website, such as descriptive titles, attributes for all links, and or adding a skip to content link on every website. All known accessibility issues and limitations. For instance, your accessibility effort may still be in the evaluation stage and not fully implemented. Providing this information shows you are aware of obstacles and committed to removing them. Any pertinent certifications, contact information for reporting accessibility issues. So that could be a phone number, an email, a chat box, mailing address. Ways users can customize the site, such as font resizing or color contrast adjustments. The assistive technology compatible with your site, such as screen reader software, how your site can be used effectively on mobile devices, instructions for how visitors can download and use any accessibility software or apps. One moment. I think I am too far away. Am I too far away? Okay. No. Apologies. I was being told that the mic was too low. Where was I at? Instructions on how your users can download and use any available accessibility software or apps provided by your organization, if that's applicable. Links to other accessibility related resources you've produced, such as products accessibility information, FAQs, etc. The external links to resources about website accessibility from third party experts in case visitors want to learn more. And let's see. This next section I hadn't read yet, but we're going to read it now. The legal importance of accessibility statements. Now that we've covered what an accessibility statement may include, let's explore its role in showing compliance with critical civil rights laws like the Americans with Disabilities Act and Section 508 of the Rehabilitation Act. Yeah, we'll keep going. In some cases, a published accessibility statement may be necessary to comply with legislation. For instance, businesses that request a listing with the U.S. federal government Vendors Accessibility Resource Center are asked to supply a link to their online accessibility concerns. Section 508 in Canada, organizations cover under the Accessibilities for Ontarians with Disabilities Act must publish a policy document outlining their commitment to accessibility and ensure that this policy is publicly available and accessible. An accessibility statement is also for compliance with the European Accessibility Act or the EAA, and the U.S. Department of Justice has required publication of an accessibility statement in ADA Title III settlements. For many organizations, meaning legal requirements may be a primary goal of posting accessibility statements. However, this document also represents a prime opportunity to engage current and potential customers with disabilities by spotlighting information that's relevant to their needs. And we're going to go ahead and leave that off there. So while she is a little bit dismissive, and I don't think that she intentionally did that, I think this is definitely all tied into the frustration of the lawsuits, because she is right, and there are actually websites, which I'm not going to disclose. By the way, I fully disclose, I am just currently a researcher looking into accessibilities. I've had family members with different levels of disabilities, which is the reason why I'm looking into this a little bit more. So basically, I don't claim to be a legal expert. I don't claim to be a lawyer on TV. I'm not a lawyer online. So we're just going to find the resources for small businesses. Hey, Jen. And okay. Was there another point? I believe I already defined what the Americans with Disability Act is. If not, I'll go ahead and redefine it again. The Americans with Disabilities Act is a federal civil rights law that prohibits discrimination against people with disabilities in everyday activities. The ADA prohibits discrimination on the basis of disability, just as other civil rights laws prohibit discrimination on the basis of race, color, sex, national origin, age, and religion. The ADA requires guarantees that the people with disabilities have the same opportunity as others or as everyone else to enjoy employment opportunities, purchase goods and services, and participate in state and local government programs, which is where small businesses fall underneath between state and local governments, as well as being able to purchase goods. We're going to go ahead and move forward a couple of videos on the player.
Why does he? I want to make.
That was
Hello
remote.
all. This isn't.
But I wanted to explore a small business owner who she went out and she found a resource which I do agree with based off of where it looks like it's coming from. She mentioned that was a part of WAVE, which sounds like it's a subset of the WCAG program.
What I've been talking about a lot on my channel, but I think it's really important. I watched the video of the girl who said that she got served and sued that owned a small business because her website was not accessible, and that led me to freak out. I also own a small business and I have a website, and I was like, how can I make my website more accessible? So I started looking around. I asked one of my friends who is a lawyer what I should do and if that was actually true. And he said, yes, it is true. You can be sued if your website isn't accessible. And there are like attorneys and like law offices that will search the web actively to find small businesses to sue. So my website is, I have this website. I own my own business, like I mentioned, and I have been.
And I just want to go ahead and pause on her video because she's doing a great job. She's going online, she contacted her attorneys, and she wanted to go other places to find other resources. Just as someone with a quick glance at this from doing different websites and web designs, the main issue I'm seeing on her website is a combination of contrast colors and also the font itself. For example, the INDE Ecosystems LLC that is listed in the top left-hand corner. Okay. In the top left-hand corner of her video, it looks like it's this pinkish purpley color, and I don't think the colors are off. I think the font needs to be a slight bit bigger so that you can actually see it. But also I realized that this is something that's being recorded on a phone screen from another device. So that could cause everything to be off a little bit. And then it looks like she does have some kind of overlay on where it says indie ecosystem starting. So that's going to resolve some of the contrast issues that she's having right now as well. Let's proceed though.
And trying to figure out ways I can make it more accessible. I tried to have it accessible already, so using things like alt text, but I downloaded this. I found this.
Another point, alt text is always good to have. If you can, well actually, and maybe I can pull up my Wix and that will show a little bit more of an example, but there should always be an option to put alt text, because say for instance, you take a picture of your beautiful product that you want to sell. It's let's see, it's this building fern holder. So on her website, let's say that she's someone that's selling gemstones. If you just title the file in advance, sapphire gemstone XYZ, and give it more details, that helps like your naming process on the website and the alt text as well later. That way, when you're uploading the file, it just doesn't automatically go image 2, image 3, which we've all seen that on websites. Let's go ahead and Continue.
Extension for Chrome, just to, see about accessibility immediately. A lot of the accessibility sites that are out there want to charge fees like up to a step one, and it was literally $100 per month to make sure that your website is accessible. If you're a small business, you probably don't have $100 a month just for your freaking website. I'm already paying like $20 a month for my domain, so I just know, right? So this WAVE, which is Web Accessibility Evaluation Tool, is really great. So you add the extension to your browser, and you can open your website, and then I just open the extension, and it'll tell me what kind of errors there are. So I have some contrast errors and some link errors, but I worked really hard to get every single one of my pages above a 9 out of 10 on the accessibility chart. So I highly recommend this Wave Chrome extension for making your site more accessible. So I'm probably going to also make a video that talks about specifically what were the key issues with my website, and hopefully those will help you as you update your small business website so that you don't face these issues either. The last bit of advice that I have is you probably should be checking accessibility standards probably twice a year, so every 6 months, because apparently they do change frequently. And I'm going to look into a website, try to find a website that will like send automatic updates when those accessibility requirements change, and I'll let you know about that as well.
Here's one of the biggest issues.
I liked her video. I liked the way
Oh.
that she took this, and she's like, oh, I see this kind of like me. I saw that one person was having issues, so thus I wanted to create feedback and provide more information. Some of the information that she said towards the end of, okay, this might be good to check twice a year about accessibility guidelines. I would say if you can build it into once a quarter, that way you're not just worried about it. And she wanted to know, was there a place that she could get a email reminder of what's updating and everything else, which, like I said, Wave looks like it's based off of, and right now I'll go ahead and move it over so that you all can see what I am doing. So I'm pulling up the actual guidelines themselves, and then Wave is the extension she said she was using. Yeah, I don't see anything on here that I'm worried about you all finding. Wave accessibility. Let's see. Let's vet her source, her evaluation tool. Okay. So Wave browser extension, the Wave because the extension is entirely used. Okay, Web AIM. And it's coming from Utah State University. I would say that this is highly reliable, and that's what I was thinking is it's probably connected with either this, which is the actual guidelines on how to be two different levels of compliance. There's AA and AAA, which, looking at the time, we got 4 minutes left, so I will have to get into that information on a different day. Well, I should say within the next few Mondays. I don't have an exact schedule of what will be covered under each one. It's kind of what sparks interest at the moment. But basically, you can see here, they have accessibility training, but also you can ask someone that is going to design a website for you in the future, including myself, hey, have you ever been through any form of accessibility training? I can tell you for myself, I've been through 40 hours of accessibility training with level 11 technology where we went through and manually, so it's not AI trained. We went through and manually reviewed websites and located where there are issues with accessibility, such as that contrast and everything else. So it's not as simple as, okay, one person won't be able to fix it all, but be able to see what's going on, figure out what type of website you're using and try to update it. Which I might circle back to her website offline, off stream, just to see who her web provider is. Because, for example, within Wix, they have accessibility checkers in there that are built in. I'm kind of looking at it, and it looks like that might have been a Squarespace website. So, all of them are around, but it does look like what she was looking for, which is a newsletter that gives updates on what's happening in the community. It is here. And you can see a newsletter archive as well as probably sign up for it somewhere. So it is possible. And yeah, right now we got about 2 minutes left. That was all that I have planned. And actually, 2 videos on TikTok seems to be quite enough for the Access ADA stuff on Mondays. And please look out, because between my TikTok and Instagram, I will be posting a small reel just advising of what the next day's topic is going to be. Tomorrow, we're going to do a Tech News Tuesday for entrepreneurs and small business owners. I will be live at 8 p.m. EST. This will be live on TikTok and YouTube for right now until I get my LinkedIn followers up to 150. So the replay of this live stream will be available immediately after this on YouTube, and it will also be available on my LinkedIn typically within 24 hours. And then we'll go ahead and go through the rest of the week. On Wednesday is going to be Work in Progress Wednesday, where you will be able to see a live stream of me working on my website, ashburyart.com, in the background. So that's going to be Wednesday. Thursday is going to be Reddit stories, where you can tune into stories from Reddit for solutions to your website woes. Friday is going to be a recap of everything throughout the week. And right now I have Small Business Saturday web support, where I plan to post a link to a form through Google right now. And that will be where you can go and sign up to see if there are any things that you want me to look at for your website right now in regards for accessibility. And we'll see if we can get you some tips and tricks in order to get your website running smoothly and take a little bit of the headache out of what you may be experiencing currently. But for now, it is 9:30. I want to thank you all for tuning in. I hope that everyone has a great rest of their day. Again, the link to this Notion page will be in a pinned comment somewhere. Like I said, I'm still figuring out. But thank you for tuning in to the live stream. And of course, stay safe with this weather. Bye for now.